Go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay. Can you?
I'm trying.
So if you can text Desiree star 822 to 2233 and hit enter. Set that off, and hopefully you should get back something that says join. So please know that.
The number behind the desk, right, please.
I'm sorry, Desiree star 832. Yeah, so it's pretty hard to see from there. Huh? You got in? Okay, great. Other people in?
22333.
Yeah, Desiree star 832. Get it? Anybody having trouble?
Oh, I got it.
Got it? Everybody in? Anybody not in? Just trying to get in?
I guess
Got it?
I had a-
Okay.
I had
All
a
right.
capital.
Yeah, it's not, all right, we have our tech guy here now, so hopefully I don't have to keep talking to the ceiling tile. All right, so let's, if you can advance to the next slide, please. All right, so somebody has already said something here, but go ahead and tell me, and whoops. It is working now. So go ahead and tell me, just text in A, you have to do it quickly. So text A, B, C, D, however many apply. You'll see that. It will show up there. Hopefully. And people on the phone, feel free to do this too. So we've got at least of the people that responded to this. We have most people that are working for somebody else's. We have some people that have their own business. We have some people that have people on payroll, right? So everybody has a different business as far as where they are. Maybe it's just themselves and that's all they want to be. Maybe someone is growing their business and they're starting to add employees on. Right? So we know that, right? Different business cycles, different business models. Karen.
Tell us what the text was again. Desiree.
Desiree. Okay. Did you get it? All right. All right. How much do you enjoy your work? This is anonymous. And I kind of demonstrate this because if anybody does have the opportunity to do presentations, I think it's always a nice way to get, interactive. Apologies for the cumbersomeness. How is online? Anybody can do. All right. All right. So we got 30% here that love it. It's fantastic. And people that like it, it's wonderful. We don't have anybody who says I hate it or I don't like it, right? And especially if you're working for somebody else's company, that's really great. That you really like the job, right? Typically, I know Ashland has a lot of entrepreneurs here. When you start your own business, it's a whole different animal, right? And it's like, boy, I love this. So people enjoy what you're doing. It's especially
Sorry-
great if you're
Sorry to interrupt, but we're still getting that feedback, the choppy.
yeah, someone. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what. Maybe we just need
We're
to.
working on it.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. Keep us posted though, please.
All right, I'm sorry, I can't. Which job aspects are the most important to you? Choose 4. Okay. Again, you have to do them separate, right?
Fun to watch. Come on.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Like watching a horse race or
Yeah,
something.
cool.
All right, so right now we have here. It's kind of hard to do, right? Because it's like you probably, every single one of those should be important to you. But it's, when you have to decide, okay, 4 of those, which are the most important? So the people I work with and the mission of my work, that very often comes through, right? And those are some of those intangibles, those undefinable. Pay and benefits, of course, right? We need to have mortgage pay, to do whatever. It's, we need insurance, we need all that kind of stuff. Important. But when it really comes to what drives people about their job, it is more those intangibles. And that's what we talk about when we talk about culture. I work with culture. That I really focused on it. So as a real quick, basic kind of graphic here, we've got, it's so important, it drives your business. Because what is at the heart of your business? Customers. It's the heart of anybody's business, whether you just have yourself or you have 10,000 people, it's all about your clients and your customers. And so that's what you're focused on. You want to make sure your customers are happy. So happy customers should make for a good business. Who interacts with your customers? So therefore, you logically follow it. You have happy employees, you're treating your customers well, and everything. That the business should be successful and grow. It doesn't always happen because there are certain things that happen that are outside of your control, right? COVID may be a wonderful example, right? All the best laid plans in these businesses that opened up and then shut down, right? Because of something very much outside of their control. Workplace culture is one of those things that is something that is within your control. Whether you're a manager, whether you're an owner of a company, whether you're an HR, right? We want to do what we can to make sure that the workplace is as fun as it can be. Now, another thing about customers or about businesses being successful is you can actually have a successful business with unhappy customers. You can do that. Anybody have any, like, what would be an example? Microsoft doing that. Makes.
Yeah, I mean, they laid off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, right.
An extra burden of responsibility.
Lack of it. So people at Microsoft, a lot of them were not happy. A lot of people got laid off or loyal right now. They didn't feel like they had any input. New thing that always comes up in community service. What do I want? I want opportunity. So, we're in a real. How else? You can have unhappy customers. So, employees is one thing. Customers, how could you have a business unhappy?
Utility.
Exactly. There's no competition. So we're the only one who provides that service to the community, and so people got to go with heat, got to go with you, right? So you could do that, but it's going to be much really. So another example would be if you have the best product. You hear sometimes people say, "I hate dealing with them. This widget is nothing ever, so I just this, but I try not to talk. Right. So with this, that, so, okay, we're making the point, right? The workplace culture of positive behavior. I have one more thing here. So, give me one word to describe happy workplace culture. And you can type that word in. Right, into yourself. What? Give me one word that describes a happy workplace. You can do a couple words. Trust. Authenticity. Great word. Very, very creative. Collaboration. Absolutely. So trust, the way word clouds work, if you don't know, right? So the more people that say something, the bigger the word is going to be. So trust is really something important. Okay? That'll breed teamwork. Nice. Longevity. And a lot of this, you know, it's not always necessarily that each one of these words for every business. There can be different businesses. I'll explain that in a little bit as to how you want to describe your workplace culture. Because every business is different. One culture might work for business, but not. All right, awesome. Done with. So, what is the impact on a internal? You say, you know, workplace culture, positive workplace culture, internal. Just talking about actual works and if you have a positive workplace culture, what do you think? How does that impact your employees? If they're happy, they're engaged. Right? And that's what it's all about, right? Is engaging, especially again, retention. Absolutely. And that's a great thing because you know, people always talk about how, oh, it's not, you know, we have to find people. And then, you know, you people, but they don't think about a lot of times they do. They put all their effort into recruiting. We are so wonderful. Join us. You. Right. So one of the things that really want to are how employees make sure that are they going home after their first day and telling people, "Boy, I'm so excited. Great day. Really well." This you have engagement, high engagement. Studies such that show that more engaged employees do work from home. So here's a few. I'll let you, I don't know how many of you can read these. Can you read it from back there? Can you? Okay. Awesome. I'll just give you a moment just to read through some of those. Are reviews on Glassdoor from companies that people like. There's a certain kind of theme here. So what are
He is like a person in time. Just
Right.
an extension or an ability to bring something. And for a company that's true and for value.
Right, absolutely, right? Treats you like a person, right? That is, yeah, shouldn't be like, oh, what a concept. You know, and then some of these other, like there are endless opportunities to explore and advance your career, right? Like they care about you, they care about you, they care about you. Clear communication, welcoming, leading by example, right? How many times does management say what you have to do? And so, sure. And then of course, on Glassdoor, if you're reading these reviews, they always have on the bottom, there, browse open job. Right? So wouldn't you much rather have a company where your employees are writing those kinds of things and then people say, gee, I want to work versus, something where they're complaining, it's like, am I really going to want to work? How about on the external community? What kind of impact does a good workplace culture at the have relates to the external community?
Here. Projects that recognize just the business.
Yeah, perfect, right? Get more involvement in the community. Right? Employees that are happy working somewhere are going to be more philanthropic. I would go to projects and things that other nonprofits. But absolutely. What else?
A lot of times you'll see them out in the community doing something. If it's a parade, they have a float, and they're excited to make the float or whatever it is that they're doing.
Right. So it kind of builds the culture of the community.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. For commerce, people, what else does happy workplace provide a community?
I don't know, I was thinking as he was. Allow your employees to choose what they want to volunteer with in the community, but instead of saying, here's what we're gonna do as a company, say, here's your day a month, or a day of 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all part of the policies and benefits, right? That companies can't put in place to create and really start forming workplace culture. Workers, right? I mean, that impacts it, right? If you have a place that people really want to work, people will come and work there, right? You hear people say, oh my God, Sierra Nevada is a fantastic company to work for. They treat their employees well and whatever. And people move to a community because of the business environment. Right? Competitors can be good or bad, right? So you can have a great workplace culture, you might not have as many competitors. People say, well, everybody goes there. Everybody loves it there. You really hard to break into that market. People love working. You won't find anybody. On the other hand, you have a bad workplace culture. Great opportunity for somebody to come in and say, hey, everybody hates working for this company. Customers aren't really happy. They have no other choices. It's great opportunity to be and create another competitor. Competitive business. Charities, we talked through that, right? Like Asheville first came up with charities. That was the first thing. Follow the community. All right. Here's some examples, and these are live examples that I've pulled up from Yelp on not such great workplace cultures. And your moment, I took all the names of companies out. Hopefully you don't know what that is. What are the themes?
Customer service.
So there's definitely, bad reviews on Yelp about, I didn't like the food or it was cold or whatever. These specific ones all just talk about people, interaction with employees, customer service, how that is, again, that comes from how employees feel about working for their business, right? The energy, the hospitality, the attitudes, appreciate, complaining, rude, all that kind of stuff. That's all about customer service and people, and it's much cheaper to fix that kind of stuff than it is something that's really an issue, right? Okay. So how do you create a workplace culture?
Lead by example.
Lead by example, absolutely, right? It starts from the top. It has to start from the top. It's very difficult I've worked at very large organizations, medium, different industries and all of that. Now I'm really supporting small companies, very small companies, and companies that are just starting to hire their first workforce. And although there's obviously differences in larger organizations, really fundamental these people, right? It's all about people and how you treat people. Whether you have 5 people in your staff, you have 5,000. So, how do you create a workplace culture? The workplace culture be created without feeling. Absolutely, right? Right? And it will, right? A culture is going to happen even if you just sit in your office, do nothing, and don't talk to anybody. Some kind of cultures, right? It's because people interact with each other. So what you really want, and you're never going to be able to 100% control your workplace culture, but you want to do what you can to make as much of an intentional workplace culture as possible. And I love things that start with the same letter. So purpose, people, and policies. So first and foremost, purpose. What is the purpose of people working? What is the #1 message that you want employees to know about the business, that you want them to model? Well, and that's that intangible. That's not, we are the biggest provider of pest control solution, whatever, right? That's great. Is that really what pop out of bed in the morning, right? Is it that your people should be modeling to the customers, that we bend over backwards for you? There's a problem, we will fix it. We will handle all of this for you. You don't have, very seamless, that's what we do. Whatever that is, right? We care. Whatever that is, that's sort of that message that you really want to have sort of as your tagline for employees, and sort of the foundation of your workplace culture to create more intentional. Visualize. Now, sometimes depending on where I am, and I say visualize, but I am in Asheville, so probably not that much of a stretch, and I do believe the universe brings things, right? But I'm actually talking a little bit more about actual studies that have been done of how effective visualization is. And one of the most famous ones that I know of is basketball. They took 30 people, divided them randomly into 3 groups, and they had people shoot free throws for 3 minutes each. And then they figured out, what was the percentage success for each group. And then they said, okay, we are going to do this again 30 days from now and see if there's any change. So the first group did nothing. They just came back 30 days later, didn't do anything between when they did it the first time and when they did it 30 days later. Second group practiced. They practiced, or whatever, however many times they practiced for 30 minutes, and to try to. And then the last group just visualized. They didn't practice shooting free throws. They were told, don't do this. Just want you to sit for half an hour and think about, visualize your story, how you're making it. And so what happened? You kind of know, right? No real change in the first group. So if you don't do anything, you're probably not. Those that are just practicing, 24% increase in visualization. And only visualize it was almost the same as somebody who actually practiced. So you can just imagine that if people practiced and visualized, that it would even go up more than that. And I know Michael Jordan was somebody who said all the time that he visualized a shot. And he is
He was at,
Oh, he was asking. Yeah, my husband and I have arguments about who was. I just say. I don't. All right, people, what about the people? So use visualization, let's bring it back to that. And just think through a little bit, do a little prep work before you just start hiring people. And clearly you want people with skills and competencies and experience, but that doesn't give you intangible, right? A little bit of time to think about what else do you want to create that. We want people with values, work ethic, commitment. But what are some of those undefinable traits? And so think through that before we build, and then start building your workforce. And I actually have a little personal story that I love to tell because I was at doing one of these for community college. Yeah. And there were 3 people or something. And, and I thought, wow, and there's really no applicability to some of the stuff I'm talking about. And I signed up for this. And there was one woman who said she and her husband had this business for a long time. And they were going to start, they wanted eventually to sell business years. And they didn't really have anybody, family members that wanted it. They didn't just want to sell it out there. They wanted to make sure that 2 weeks after I talked through this whole thing, she said, you know what, my husband has sat and visualized the kind of person he was. And she said it changed the whole way that we interviewed, the way we thought about it. And so she's really so kind of a fun story for me. Also, I thought was interesting. All right. An elevator speech. It's an elevator speech.
You are, you do.
Yeah.
Science.
Alex has no idea.
Well,
Yeah.
we always talk about it in our store, you know, with our customers that come in for such a unique shop. Getting that insight.
Absolutely, right? If you have a limited amount of time, the whole concept of, you know, the elevator speech is that you get an elevator, you go to the top floor where you're going. And, you know, what is most important that you want to tell somebody about the subject? It can be about anything. It can be about yourself, it can be about your company, it can be about whatever, right? And so I love the concept of the elevator speech. It really is something that then expands to, it's the foundation for your whole workplace culture. I will, let's see here, give you an example. I think, picture of this if I can read it. And let's see. We don't really have time, I think, to do this, but I'd like to, you know, if you are thinking about sort of, you know, building workforce or changing a workforce, it's not easier to build it than to change it.
Yeah.
You know, take some time to put together a little elevator speech where you might want to like that. Right? We think of it, we think of sales, but really want to pitch our employees about our company. Why would you love to and think about it that way? Here. Yes. All right, so I have 2 as an example, and this will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And again, you have that, you know, sort of 10, 15 seconds or something. And these are both very different. It's very good. At ABC Company, creative, progress-focused people strive to be on the leading edge of technology. We foster a fast-paced environment and offer competitive pay and sounds great, right? Competitive gives you a good idea of that workplace culture. That, you know, competitive environment, fast pace, leading edge, right? So you get a good idea of the kind of people that are looking, you know, that they want and that would also like to work with that company. On the other hand, hand, the other one is at XYZ company, we have a calling to help. Our teams of dedicated, hardworking individuals have been serving underprivileged communities for over 80 years. We consider our employees part of our family and offer excellent health and retirement benefits. Right? Really good too, but very different, right? This is somebody who probably is not that competitive, wants to work in a team. You get somebody who's really competitive in that kind of environment. I'm not getting enough attention, right? Or vice versa, you have the other person who's just not going to be, doesn't have the drive enough to really go out and do things, like figure it out on their own. So that's you start the elevator speech. Like I said, normally I say, okay, everybody kind of take 2 minutes and write your elevator speech, and then we can build from that. To Alex's point, you bring people on board, so you have your, sort of your statement, purpose, what you want, what kind of culture you want. Figure out the skills, competencies that the people need, experience, all that kind of stuff. And how do you retain them? So I came up with 5 C words. Communicate. This is absolutely critical, right? It's I would say, having been in HR for a million years, the number one thing, if I could have a magic wand and say I could change something, and actually can agree with this, is how people communicate to each other. There are so many misunderstandings sometimes just because the person didn't even mean to say what they said, the other person heard it wrong, or they're not getting any information, or they feel like they're out of the loop or whatever, right? There's some managers that just don't want to tell anybody information because they feel it's important, and they're not going to tell anybody about that. It's really hurting themselves. Right? You need to have that work, that teamwork, that good, successful culture to really make yourself successful. So be transparent as much as you can. It's not always everything that you can tell your employees. If you can't tell somebody something, especially like I've been through situations where there were layoffs, people were losing their job. And at the beginning, when we embarked on the project, people would say, are we going to lose, are they going to reduce jobs? And we had two opinions on that, and there was one side of the house that said, no, we are not telling them that. They're going to freak out. We're not going to do that. Absolutely not. And the other one was, oh, we have to. We can't tell them exactly how many or whatever, but there will most likely be some job cuts. This is how we're going to help that. Right? This is why we're going to offer retraining. We're going to offer this. We're going to have those kinds of things. And that was much more people stayed on board. That were told, no, we're not having any job cuts. Because it was care. You have to care about people. Those reviews last 4 that were great. Everything about people about companies. Collaborate. We have to put that up there in the word cloud. Absolutely, right? You want to work together. That's what it's all about. Coach people. Help them get better. Don't tell them what to do. Help them improve their skills. And then so important, congratulate. Don't forget that part of it. We spend so much time trying to, if you do, which is nice. I mean, you can just fire somebody if you want most of the time, but we spend a lot of time trying to get people better at what they do. And we focus all our efforts getting those core performers doing well. Yeah, absolutely, you should do that. But don't forget about the people that are just really knocking it out of the park for you, because those are the people that really are making. All right, policies and benefits. Just a real quick, right? This is important too. Make sure that your policies match that workplace culture. That statement that you create. You're a real team-oriented environment where you want people to feel like a family, they're going to be there a long time. Well, then have good retirement and things like that. You're gonna be at a place where you think someone's finally gonna say 2, 3 years, don't invest all your money in a pension plan. Those kinds of things. Make sure that, you know, what kind of, do you have a lot of working mothers? You have to change your policies there. Make sure that every time you put a benefit in place, does it actually align with the culture that you have or are trying to create? All right. So to wrap it up, you know, how to distinguish yourself from your competitors. Workplace culture has a big when you're talking about employees, right? So attracting them, again, how do you do it? If you have great reviews from your employees, they're gonna, you know, the recruiting is gonna be much easier. You already have a talent pool. I'd love to. Retaining, same kind of idea, right? What do you do to keep employees engaged? You show that there's a development plan, you have career ladders, you have opportunities. You talk to your employees. I mean, you could do a whole university here on this, but DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is something else you need to do in order to have a culture. If you have people that are just like you, you're going to have people that think just like you, right? And so you need to get new ideas into your organization. You go where you can find people. There's an interesting, and I think the top, I don't know, something like, don't know this, but of the top 500 companies, the most productive companies have a majority of them have somebody from another country, different national origin, because that's a really different way of thinking, right? We all think of it from the U.S. perspective, how we handle things here. There was really a good information around that, where that is probably one of the best, talking about management, is having a different country on your team. Managing performance, some of this definitely builds your workplace culture. You can have a company where people feel like, oh, you know, I'll never get fired unless I kill somebody and no one's going to fire me, right? Or you have a culture where it's like, all they do is yell, they don't try to help me. So performance management is right? You really have to walk the talk. As you have big companies, bad if you have some managers, easy graders, and all that good stuff. Try to be as consistent as you can. You do that for yourself. And contributing to the community. Not only are you doing good for the community, but you're also, you have that float in the parade, where you do whatever. Actually, this is like, one last quote here. I feel like this from Airbnb, you know, a company culture is the foundation for innovation. An entrepreneur's job is, and I like that one. There's a lot of entrepreneurs. So if anybody has any comments?
Question. Sure, probably, people probably, if they got your information, they're visualizing. What strategies do you have for someone who's in that position, realizing, okay, my visualization as far as where I want to be is not where I'm currently. I may have to, you know, I don't want to start all over again, but what are my options to maybe rebuild that thing?
Depending on how jacked up it is, right? You might have to completely rework it. And I think, so
Exactly.
Zach, okay. To the point that Zach made before, it's, you know, it has to come from the top, right? It has to, you have to walk leadership. So if you don't have leadership on board or bought into, you have to make this change. I would say, I don't like to say it's possible, right? You can make your own little team happy and healthy, but eventually, you know, owners of, but if you get them on board, then you have to Some of the things I like to do is for the strategy session, you sit with the senior leaders of the organization and you say, okay, where are we now? Where do we be? What are some of the things that we have to do or look at to get from here to here? And just start having thoughts, discussion, and then figure out where do we start? It's really about change management. Also, yeah, it's hard. I guess, workplace culture, the nice thing about, this is why I tell companies with, a few employees, never too early to think about that. It's easier to keep a good one going than it is to change one that is not, right? And it's going to create itself no matter what you do. You want to be in there first. You can have a chicken or the egg, chicken or the egg thing. Do you want to hire happy people in your place happy? Okay, well, that will work, but it's a lot easier to have a happy place and then you hire people and then osmosis, you're already into a happy work. Typical happy people come into an unhappy workplace. There's a lot. Right. Right, thank you.
Thank you. You all, for your day. Thanks for coming. Yeah. Thanks for Zach. Thanks for lunch. You're gonna take one with. We have you registered. A lot of them that registered to be here are actually. Please.
Hopefully they heard.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you. Zach, take one with you.
Sorry.
Take one with
Oh, thank you. You know.
You did a nice job. despite all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really have a nice handle on it. Love to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good.
Yes,
Really like that.
Okay, we're talking.
I don't know.
And- Yeah, good. It's a girl?
Driven.
Somebody called me back, you should call me, just to make sure. And then they get attitude.
Absolutely.
I need to take a week off. That's up to my next month. Like, somebody to cover you.
Where you want to
Get
eat?
somebody to cover you.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You know, you can't get the preschool coach, come coach of the team.
No.
You know, no, then she doesn't have.
I'll sit down.
Gotta
I'm not in a hurry, I'm not in a hurry.
Thank you, qualified.
Thank you, love.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, come sit, we'll have lunch.
Yes. You get paid per class. Per class.
So it would be.
Well, I mean, if we could get those many classes.
I shouldn't admit this, but I've never.
Classes. Condensed classes, so they're not spread all over the place. So I have a coach, $20 an hour, working with 3 kids here, 3 kids here, 3 kids here, 3 kids here, you know what I'm saying? So we consolidate those classes.
I know there's sort of.
You know, yeah, I mean, so the gym,
There's chicken wars, right?
Yeah.
and if they're good enough,
Yeah.
like I was.
Well, I'm telling the
Coach.
I
All
like,
my state field, I had to open new class. And open class, so, I was made my. Yeah. And, hey, thanks for inviting me. I'm glad you like it. No, but you know what, you just get an idea. The evening thing. Yeah, business hours. What time does those things usually go? Okay, I might be able to get out of there at 6 o'clock. Get there late, if that's an option, because 5 o'clock spot, that's the biggest time slot that I have right now, and it takes me and Brandon,
Right.
it takes me and Brandon to do those classes at 5 o'clock. And,
yes.
the 6 is, we haven't exceeded 8, the 6 o'clock.
Favorite. For a
I
year.
could, leave there,
Very
with older
special.
kids.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I want to come, I want to be a part of this. I want to, explore what, these networking. Just seeing what things are out here that can help me to grow my business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna grow. I mean, things can
Oh my
help.
God.
So that you know exactly. It builds camaraderie of competence. Everybody wanted to be on. It built camaraderie of that group. And anything was happening.
Just now.
Really, really go to your room and room service. is incredible. Do it.
That's what this.
Are you gonna go?
I.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Gotta find a bathroom.
Oh, on the other side.
The other side.
Yeah.
And I choose very small. I work there. Have a-
Staring out you. Good.
As my children lived in.
Well, if you're like me, they have, I've been that speak, what did I do? They asked me, did you do this? And I said, and then I cannot.
Yeah. Answering whatever email I didn't answer. What do I have to do to start this next week? You already know we're gonna get into this before this staff.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like nonstop and we look.
My notes were, I'm like,
Employee.
today, and I already.
You were so busy in the holidays.
Yeah. That happens.
I was having a meeting tonight, just taking notes, and I ended up.
And what I find is that when I do that process, I get school thoughts.
Yeah.
But then, it's not necessarily good.
Make you,
But then when I actually sit down, but we took 10 minutes and now, well, I have too much time on my hands. I was
That's
like, I have so much to do, having a first get done, and I'm like,
Yeah.
now.
I don't really have. What?
Yeah.
It does. Always. Yeah, brother. Oh, yeah. He's like really near, I don't know how he describe it.
If y'all don't mind if I grab another one of these.
No, go right ahead.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't get to meet you.
Kermit,
yeah, I don't.
Nice to meet you, and what do you?
I own the gym. I own the gym. It's called Ninja.
Where is that gym?
It's on Swananoa.
Yeah.
Near?
They're the antiques.
Oh, no, exactly.
Yes. But there used to be a gymnastics gym down there.
Yeah.
I used to own it.
Okay.
This is what I was just telling you. Is that I used to, I had 17 employees, you know, and for the gymnastics, the coaches are usually ex-gym. And they usually were really good gym, you know?
Yeah.
And hiring
He
There's
always
a,
has internal ring.
bit of most of them are prima donnas.
Chip on the shoulder.
Yeah. You know, and you know, but you know, you want people that are good. Then instruction. Oh, and pat them on the back, give them, you know, some guidance. If you want to, you know, to keep it unified. So that the kids aren't in this up here, and this up there. And then they get mixed up. I was in touch. Not here, you know, here, everything is. But, I, bottom line is, couldn't stand. When I paid them well,
Yeah.
gave
It was
them
easy.
pretty much told me, you know, if I'm not talking to you or something, because I'm really good, but, you know, great job, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm walking by and trying to.
Yeah.
Give me the cheerleader. You know, and it was like,
I'm not.
I'm not, that means you're doing a good job. I mean, really, that's, it means, because the only time I really talk to you is when you made a mistake. You know, when I have to be in my office, it's when you made a mistake, it's gonna cost us some business.
There, I saw it,
And, but, you know,
So now you have a gym that's.
one man show.
Yeah.
My wife runs the best,
All right.
I coach. And it's working out, but it's still. And you know, just to tell you, I own that gym.
Yeah, they like.
I had a friend,
No.
and I decided to make, you know, wanted to try to, you know, keep struggling with, his life. She was good, so, you know, I made him,
Oh, it's friends.
and along with the rest of them, the coup. Yes, and, I told him, you know, I said, that's, so y'all think y'all can do what I do? Bottom line is, that gym is no longer there. The gym is no longer there, and my gym is, you know, got out of it and opened up, got out of the gymnasium, opened up the Ninja Gym.
Sounds like you found your fish.
Absolutely. Found that it's getting bigger. Kids, they keep coming, and I'm gonna have to expand.
Yeah.
And expansion means employees. And here we go again, you know, so hopefully, you know, it's time to get it again. You know, and that's what's been happening, and you were talking about, is it easy to start over, and that's what so but I've got policies in place, on how I conduct myself, and, I don't know.
Give them that example you gave about your. If that's how you do things, right? And you're like, hey, you're doing a good job, I don't hear from me. Whereas, people like to hear. Congratulations. Stuff like that. But if it's not you, that's kind of your culture, right? And if I couldn't live there, or that's not me, or a lot of,
No, they don't.
ribbons or
Yeah,
whatever,
right.
then it's like, it's not gonna, no matter how good that person is, we're not gonna be happy.
No, and they always,
Now it's like, she.
they need to be congratulated and all of that, knowing who I am, and they can't stand to be corrected.
That's a whole.
Yes, and I handle correction well,
Not everybody does.
That's one of the hardest things. A
Yeah.
lot of people really.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it to as many of these.
All right.
What's
Okay,
next?
and
What's
your
next on the
information
calendar?
Tomorrow. I'll get Jessica to send you some information. About that.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, hey, comment.
No.
Yeah.
In our
My information on that card, on that page. Yes, so you guys are gonna read that and see if from chamber material?
You are chamber. It will go through the, yeah. Yes,
Okay, all right, thank you. Will I be hearing from?
you will.
All right. See you guys later. Thanks a
Be
lot.
blessed, absolutely.
You know.
Uh,
Yesterday. So it is or higher. They're, house. And then the only time they come in under 35 years. That 35 to 40, they let the kids choose. But if it's under 35, then they're like, okay, now we'll eat in something.
But
I will.
so 35 to 40, what's that? 35 to 40 years is crazy.
Yeah.
But if it's 35, but if it's like 34.5,
Teacher, the teacher wants to go stay outside.
yeah, that's true. My class is out of
Different.
It was.
Different.
Yeah. I go outside. Outside.
Yeah.
I'll get locked out.
And just like.
She gave,
We looked in the audience. I looked.
One list that is, if you make it through that one, you do a 360.
I haven't even printed out my.
Yeah.
the January
exciting.
calendar.
It
I have to get things in there. Put on in my house, but I have to.
Yeah.
Please. Have to print a January.
You can find one.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like,
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Because I need to get.
all right, that sounds good.
Thank you. Oh, absolutely, always is. Desiree, you head now?
I am.
Is Michael picking you up?
Yeah, he's already.
Oh, he's already outside?
I think of it.
All right, I can- later.
That's okay. No, but there were probably.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Just a life story.
That was, there was a volume issue, like a
Oh.
microphone issue. So the people. Nothing that